All right, so here we go. Blizzard has just late night on a Monday evening. I guess everyone's back in the office. They have released a giant info drop regarding Phase 2, talking about loot, talking about GDKPs, talking about the PvP event, talking about mounts, talking about so many things, talking about class rebalancing and class runes. This is the biggest piece of Phase 2 news that we have gotten so far. And I mean, this is giant. This is probably the only piece of Phase 2 news we're going to get before Phase 2 comes out in about a week and a half. So not only have they dropped a giant blue post, but they've also released a 32-minute video. We're going to react to the video right now, and we're going to try to do our best to break this down and make sense of all of this information. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Linny Cook-Saverline, and I'm a producer on WoW Classic.
Hi.
Back at BlizzCon, we had the absolute pleasure of finally sharing Season of Discovery with you all, and we've loved watching all of the new challenges you've overcome, the meta you've created, and the adventures you've all had in Phase 1.
No
and
doubt.
Now we'd like to chat with you about Phase 2. Today we're going to do a brief overview of some of the new adventures in store for you.
I feel like I'm back on Skype. I feel like the year is 2009, and I'm using Skype. That's what this feels like. I love it.
Our topics today include information about our new 10-player raid Nomergon, dungeon updates, rune ability updates, PvP updates, profession updates, and more, which should help.
The more section of this is, I think, what is the most controversial, where they start talking about GDKPs.
Answer some of the questions we've gotten around our previous phase and where we're going with the new one.
Okay.
We're going to bop through our slides pretty fast, so you may want to pause or watch back through the recording if you want to catch everything on the slides.
I can do that.
We're also going to put the build up on the PTR soon. We're doing something similar to Phase 1, where we only make the era and hardcore content available, not the season itself. It is likely there will be some data mining, but beware, not everything you see data mined will actually be in the patch. This build will contain some experimental things, stuff for later phases, and things that maybe didn't work quite how we wanted them to. We're going to start off talking about our new raid Nomergon. Our assistant lead designer, Tim Jones, will be walking us through it. Take it away, Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Hello there. Thank you, Lenny, for that introduction. I'm Tim Jones, the assistant lead game designer on World of Warcraft Classic. And it's my pleasure to talk to you more and give you a sneak peek at Nomergon, the second level up raid in Season of Discovery, and the raid content that you'll be participating in at level 40 in Phase 2.
Okay.
Let's get into it. So much like Blackfathom Deeps, Nomergon will be a 10-player raid. There will be 6 bosses. There were originally 5 bosses in Nomergon, if you didn't count the Dark Iron Ambassador. So there's one more new boss that no one's ever fought before. And, of course, redesigns from the ground up.
And, of course, in Blackfathom Deeps, we have 7 bosses.
Up on all of the other bosses. So brand new experience overall. A ton of new rewards and items.
Over 100 new items. Real quick, I want to do some math here. 100 divided by 6 bosses. Every boss is probably going to have a loot table that is about 16 items. Of course, some items could drop from trash. Who knows? But these are some big loot tables.
More epics than we had in Blackfathom Deeps, with more sources, different bosses than just the last 2 bosses dropping those. New item sets for classes to pursue. The quests and rewards have been brought up to level 40. And
so this means probably 10, 11, 12 epics or something like that, because I think that BFD has 3 epics. Okay.
And there's a brand new profession quest chain that leads into a pretty deep opportunity for people to find materials and craft a lot of really cool and powerful items. Josh will get into that more down the line.
All right.
But some of the play spaces have had some changes. For people who aren't familiar with the Grubbus and Chomper encounter, you might notice that there are some radiation vents that weren't here. Those will perhaps play a part in this encounter. Crowd Pummeler is now in a different part of the instance. I wonder what kind of mechanics, something that punches you really hard, might have to do with being on a platform above a pit of death. Who knows?
Can I say something? I'm gonna be such a complainer. I actually wish that in this PowerPoint in this video, I wish they wouldn't show us this. This is like these boss previews. I think they shouldn't show us any of this. I actually don't like that we're hearing this. I wish that we would get to see all of this stuff, all of the new changes to the boss, every single thing, when we actually step inside of the raid for the first time.
And there's a lot of excited onlookers ready for you to take on this robot. And Sicko Thermoplug, the last boss of the instance, may have added some additional mechanical suits with different properties to his arsenal, and you'll have to face off against those as well.
Okay.
Getting into a preview of the exciting.
So if I had to guess, some of these are poison immune. Like this is fire immune. This is probably frost immune. You know, it's probably different type of spell immunities is my guess, or different types of damage that he does, something like that.
Have to face off against those as well. Getting into a preview of the exciting loot. There's some nods to old items. I think that one people will notice is the automatic crowd pummeler.
Yep.
No longer will you have to get individual manual crowd pummelers. You'll be able to pick up one and then.
Viril's Hardened Core Trinket. Stamina, Arcane, and Nature Resist. Chance to dodge by 1%. Increases armor by 1,000, but movement speed is reduced by 60%. Increases armor by... That's a lot of armor. And decreases movement speed by 60%. Effect cannot be removed and lasts for 10 seconds. That's a really big tanking trinket. That's a huge tanking trinket. Hands, Bonk, Maestro's Handguards, Fist, ability +5, Maces +5, Trinket, Domesticated Attack Chicken. Releases the Domesticated Attack Chicken that will fight for you for 1.5 minutes or until defeated. Mechanostrider Muffler, Mace, 7 stamina, 16 attack power. It's not that bad. Gearmender's Grace increases healing done by 20. It's a main hand healing mace, 4 stam, 3 spirit. The Necronomicon, held in offhand, damage and healing done by 14. Int, spell power, shadow resistance. Okay, so they are still putting shadow res on gear. We had a lot of shadow res in Black Fathom Deeps. They're going to continue doing that. Curious. They're also doing arcane resistance and nature resistance on the tanking trinket, which makes me think that some of the bosses are going to be doing nature and arcane damage. Automatic crowd plumber. We've seen this before. This is a great item. They're making it so you don't have to farm them over and over and over and over and over again.
And use it over and over again with the cooldown. So hopefully that's a great quality of life improvement.
Yep.
There's also some fun items that you can pick up. The Trog Transfigurator 3000, little Orb of Deception style transforming into a Trog. Aragriar's Whimsical World Warper. Play around with it. See where it takes you in the world.
This is going to like teleport you into random place all over the world.
And some fun cosmetic items as well.
Deal with it.
Here's a look at our set items. You can see that some set items actually have specific set bonuses for some classes. And
is that true? Can I see that? Okay, so hazard leg plates. These are plate, strength, stamina, increases chance to get a critical strike by 1%, 3 piece bonus, 2 set defense +7, 2 set 16 attack power, 3 set improves your chance to hit with spells and melee and ranged attacks, so it's hit for everything, 420 armor. Hyperconductive robe, cloth. Where is it for specifically certain classes? Where do I see that? Maybe he's not showing it. Hyperconductive wizard's attire. This is spell power and spirit. Okay, everything. Chance to hit 1%, 100 plus armor. Chance on spellcast to increase your damage and healing done by 40 for 10 seconds. That's awesome. And so this is obviously like a caster tanking set. It has a ton of armor, and the 2 set bonus gives you armor also. That's kind of a cool cloth tanking set. And then electromagnetic chainmail, hit rating, strength, agility, stamina, intellect, MP5, 24 attack power 2-set bonus. Your attacks have a 5% chance of restoring 100 mana. I like these proc set bonuses. I like that a lot. I think the most interesting one here is the 3-set bonus for the cloth set. I like that. That's fun to play with.
And we also have tokens now that will drop instead of having a gigantic loot list that contains all of the set pieces, and you're getting frustrated if the same set piece drops for a different class every week. We've introduced set piece tokens that can be used by everyone for a specific piece of your armor. So you can pick whoever loots the boot token will be able to turn that into a vendor to redeem it for their set piece boots.
I've done a lot of BFDs, and I have seen a lot of the like dungeon set gear get wasted. I've seen a lot of gear get rotted because it just wasn't for the right person, right?
With Nomuragon, there's a couple updates that we're making to dungeons. The first of which are the addition of quality of life skill books. These are skill books that have a chance to drop off of certain creatures in 5-man dungeons, and they add significant quality of life spells to your arsenal that don't take up a rune slot. So we're excited for people to get their hands on these. And
wow. Testament of Enhanced Blessings, Manual of Redirect, Revelation of Totemic Projection. So these are quality of life things. So I'm thinking like, who knows if it's going to be this phase, but I think we're talking things like, you know, a refreshment table for mages, so you don't have to make individual food for everyone. This might be something like a cookie jar for warlocks or a summoning closet for warlocks. Things that would make very, very boring anticlimactic runes, but they want to have them in the game anyway, so they're doing it in this way instead. Okay?
And hopefully these solve some problems that players have been facing, such as short aura durations with paladin blessings, totem control as shaman, rogues being able to have a spell that allows them to manipulate what target their combo points are on, as well as many others that we're excited for players to find when they jump into phase 2. And I'd like to pass off the presentation to Nora to talk more about rune abilities. Thank you very much.
The combo point thing for rogues is huge, actually.
Hey,
rune abilities.
My name's Nora Valletta, and I'm a lead software engineer on WoW Classic. The team is very excited for you to head out and find those new rune abilities coming soon in Phase 2 of Season of Discovery. I'm here to give you a sneak peek at some of those abilities, so let's dive in.
Okay.
Paladins. Sheath of Light will cause damage dealt with your melee weapon to also increase your spell power. It'll also cause your critical heals to apply an additional heal over time on the target. Guarded by the Light will cause your melee
That's pretty cool. Okay.
weapon hits to restore mana over time. However, the amount healed by Flash of Light, Holy Light, and Holy Shock will be reduced by half.
Okay, that's
Hunters.
like a rat thing.
Melee Specialist is a passive ability which will reduce the cooldown of Raptor Strike, cause it to trigger instantly, and each usage of Raptor Strike has a chance not to trigger its cooldown. Melee Specialist will also remove the cooldown of Mongoose Bite. Trap Launcher allows you to place traps at any location within 40 yards, and allows you to place your traps while in combat. Additionally, your fire-based and frost-based traps have separate shared cooldowns.
That's a huge change.
Warriors. Rallying Cry is a defensive ability which can be activated to increase the health.
Now I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about Warsong Gulch or PvP or doing BGs. This is going to be, this trap launcher, this is going to be so annoying in PvP.
Any location within 40 yards, and allows you to place your traps while in combat. Additionally, your fire-based and frost-based traps have separate shared cooldowns. Warriors. Rallying Cry is a defensive ability which can be activated to increase the health of all party and raid members within 40 yards.
Okay.
Blood Surge gives some of your abilities a chance to make your next slam instant and cost no rage.
Okay.
Rogues. Use Shuriken Toss to throw a shuriken at your enemy, dealing damage to your target and up to 4 additional nearby targets. Master of Subtlety causes attacks made while stealthed and for a short time after exiting stealth to cause additional damage.
Oh, man. This is another PvP meme. This is going to be rough to deal with also.
Priests. Cast Mind Spike to blast your target with Shadow Frost damage and apply a debuff, which increases the critical strike chance of your next Mind Blast on that target. This debuff can stack up to 3 times. And fan favorite from future expansions, Pain Suppression can be cast on a friendly target to significantly reduce their damage taken and increase their resistance to dispel mechanics for a short time.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking Nomergon is going to have a lot of tank buster mechanics. A lot of bosses in Nomergon are going to have phases where they're hitting the tank really, really hard. They have the trinket that drops that gives you resistance and also 1,000 armor. They have pain suppressions being given to priests. I think that Nomer is going to be a hard-hitting raid on the tank.
Warlocks. Invocation. When you refresh some of your damage over time effects while they have less than 6 seconds remaining, instant damage will be dealt to your target equal to 1 tick of that spell's periodic damage, so you no longer have to worry about refreshing your dots at the exact perfect moment. Dance of the Wicked will trigger a buff which increases you and your pet's dodge chance anytime either of you deal a critical strike to an enemy. You'll also both gain 2% of your maximum mana when that happens.
Okay, so these are totally lame.
Mages.
Okay.
Missile Barrage gives your Arcane Blast, Fireball, and Frostbolt spells a chance to reduce the channeled duration of your next Arcane Missile spell by half, reduce its mana cost to 0, and cause missiles to fire every 0.5 seconds.
Okay.
Chronostatic Preservation is a really cool new spell that allows you to store some of your Arcane, Fire, and Frost energy for later use. You can only hold this energy for a short time before it combusts and expires, but you can unleash it to heal a friendly target. Shamans. Okay. Maelstrom Weapon causes damage dealt with melee attacks to have a chance to reduce the cast time of your next Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, Lesser Healing Wave, Chain Heal, or Lava Burst spell by 20%. The cast time reduction can stack up to 5 times. Spirit of the Alpha is a 30-minute buff that can be cast on a friendly target to increase the threat generated by that target. You can kind of think of it like...
I'm thinking about Maelstrom, so this is just really, like... Are you supposed to be enhancement to Arresto, and you're supposed to be melee attack? I think not, probably, right?
The opposite of Blessing of Salvation.
Alpha.
While some shamans choose to battle with one weapon in each hand, others prefer to dish out...
Yeah, so I'm thinking, like, I think this only has enhancement utility. I don't think this is Elemental or Resto at all. I don't think you'd ever use that. Spirit of the Alpha infuses the target with the spirit of an Alpha Wolf, increasing all threat generated by the target by 45% for 30 minutes. Do shamans have threat problems? I've never met a shaman that's had a threat problem. I don't know.
Devastating blows with a two-handed weapon. If that sounds like...
Oh, hold up. Can you buff someone else with this? Yeah, it doesn't have to be you. Oh, wow. That's really good. So now having a shaman in the group is probably a must-have. Having a shaman with Spirit of the Alpha is oftentimes going to be a must-have. It's sort of like an opposite version of Salve almost, right? It's like opposite Salve. Yeah.
Like you? Then we have Two-Handed Mastery. Each time you strike an enemy with a two-handed weapon, you gain 30% attack speed with two-handed weapons for 10 seconds.
Okay.
Anyways, it's time for me to pass things over to Ana Resendez, who will be sharing with you some updates on our new PvP event. Take it away, Anna.
I don't think they mentioned druids, did they? I don't think they talked about druid runes at all. Mage, warlock, priest, warrior, hunter. They totally just forgot to talk about druid. All right, sorry, druids.
Can't wait for everyone to discover those new runes. They'll look amazing. Thank you, Nora. Hello, I am Ana Resendez, and I will talk to you about PvP.
Okay, if the druid runes are in the blue post, why don't we quickly extract that from the blue post before we continue watching? Because I want to get those mentioned before we move on. The druid, did I already scroll past? Did I pass him? Did I pass him? Dungeon, hold up. Druid, okay. Eclipse. Starfire increases the critical strike chance of your next 2 Wraths by 30%, and Wrath increases the critical strike chance of your next Starfire by 30%. Both effects stack up to 4 charges, so now you're kind of swinging back and forth. Okay, this is sort of becoming more like Wrath of the Lich King, Boomkin rotation, a little bit more so. King of the Jungle. Tiger's Fury now increases all physical damage you deal by 15% instead of by a flat value, and instantly grants you 60 energy. It is no longer on the global cooldown, but it now has its own 30-second cooldown. That's great. That's great for Feral Druids. Both of these are good. And then nothing else. Okay, I just wanted to get those on the record.
In this new level band, we're bringing a new PvP experience to you. You might have seen a little hint on our social media channels about this.
Yep.
So, our new PvP event is called the Blood Moon. The Blood Moon rises in Stranglethorn Vale, bringing with it absolute mayhem. When Ashenvale was created, we talked about how cool it would be for the event to be triggered by player activity in the area. After going through feedback and seeing how Ashenvale played, in this event, we wanted to take a different approach and make it more predictable so you know when the battle will take place. So, the Blood Moon event will happen every 3 hours, and we have a duration of 30 minutes. Okay. Believe me, you will be able to tell when the event is happening. The Blood Moon will shine its effect during this time and bring in a mysterious red fog to the area. During this time, the whole zone will become a free-for-all PvP, meaning allies and enemies alike will be viable targets for your blood rage.
Stranglethorn Vale is now going to be a free-for-all PvP zone. I wonder, so now you guys have heard of the Gurubashi Arena? Guess what? Now the entire goddamn zone is the Gurubashi Arena. Now it's the Stranglethorn Vale Arena. Everyone is good to go. It's all PvP mayhem. Yeah, it's like that old TV show. Guess what? We made everything the Gurubashi Arena. Okay, my first and immediate concern here is lag. I'm worried that this zone is going to be so incredibly laggy that you won't even be able to really enjoy the PvP experience because you're just going to be stutter stepping around.
Everyone that is in the zone during this time will become a target. During the event, killing other players will allow you to earn a currency, which can be traded for various rewards. We'll talk about...
Okay, what is stopping me from win trading with my friends and my guildies? What is going to stop me from doing that? Right? I've got a bunch of friends. I'm just going to say, hey, yo, stand there. I'm going to kill you guys. You're going to kill me, and we're going to get a bunch of tokens or points or whatever it's called. Nothing. Okay, nothing. Okay, cool. All right,
great. Talk about the rewards in a little bit.
Okay.
You can still group up, but be warned, the Blood Moon does not smile to those that battle in raid groups and will punish you for doing so.
Okay.
There are those, of course, who refuse to...
She says raid groups. So you can still group up in a group of 5. Presumably, they say raid group for a reason. If you're in a group of 5, you're probably still good, I hope.
Give in the thirst of the blood. If it's peace what you seek, you can opt out of the event at any time by talking to the Sandalari emissary. You will not be able to earn any rewards if you opt out, and...
Oh, okay, so hold up. So if you're just like a level 37 guy, hey, I want to go level up in Stranglethorn Vale. I'm going to do some Hemet Nezingray quests. Oh, no, it's the Blood Moon. Everybody's killing each other. Ah, no, it's... If you go and talk to the guy, then you can opt out of the event and you can continue on leveling and you don't need to worry about getting ganked. Here's my concern though. What if there's only one Zandalari emissary and it looks like he's right in the middle of the Gurubashi Arena? You need to go all the way to the Gurubashi Arena, getting ganked 10 trillion times. I think they probably need to have a couple different emissaries. They need to have an emissary up here, an emissary down there, an emissary over here to make it so that, yeah, okay, if you really don't want to do it, then you have an easy way to... Because, yeah, if you have to go to the heart of the zone to get out of the mayhem, then that's kind of dumb. That doesn't really work very well.
Remember that general realm PvP zone rules will still apply. Another big difference from Ashenvale is that there won't be any PvE objectives. That said,
none.
Not only should you be wary of both enemies and allies alike, you should also keep an eye out for the Chosen of the Blood Loa.
Oh, I thought you just said that there won't be any PvE objectives. Okay, never mind. Okay, guys, there actually will be PvE objectives. My bad. And his name is Kadamu. The Chosen of the Blood Loa is his name.
Will absolutely destroy you. Does Fell River ring a bell? So he's
like a Fell Reaver. Can you kill him? Like, okay, does this guy just run around owning and one-shotting people, or is he an objective that we should try to kill? Honestly, I think it's cooler if he's not an objective and he just runs around one-shotting people, slapping people's asses, fucking them up. I think it's way cooler if he's invincible, because then you're like, as you're PvPing, you're kind of scared. You're like looking over your shoulder. You're kind of worried about him. I think it's way cooler if he's like invincible.
You might be wondering, how do I get my hands on that sweet rewards? There will be a merchant outside of Gurabashi Arena that would assist you with this. What about the rewards?
The Ember Seal, finger damage done by fire spells. It's a caster fire thing. So, by the way, unique equip. You can only have one Blood Moon item. And I see two of them here. There's a sword. There might be more than this. She might say this here in a second. There's a sword here. I bet that looks pretty cool. I want to see. New class specific item rewards. New quest Arathi Basin rep. I'm going to let her talk again here.
Well, there are dozens of new class-specific item rewards. Here are some examples of the new rewards that come with the event. Additionally, there are new quests that will help with your Arathi Basin reputation journey. Do you want to see more about the cool rewards?
Yeah.
What about a new car? Well, okay, not exactly a car. But yes, you're seeing
she said
correctly.
a new car.
There will be two new faction-agnostic mounts
that
you will be able to acquire related to this event. These level 40 mounts have an appearance that is completely new to the game. I hope to see you in the battlefield.
So okay. So probably if you get a bunch of tokens, or you get exalted with somebody, I don't know, then you can get these mounts. It's probably a token thing. I don't know. Cool. All right. Cool. Oh, and by the way, notice this is a gnome, and the gnome is on a raptor, and the gnome is also on the tiger. So presumably these are faction neutral mounts. If you're a gnome, if you're an alliance, maybe you can get the raptor. That's pretty cool.
The game. I hope to see you in the battlefield.
Faction agnostic. Okay, there you go.
And up next, Josh will join us, and he will talk to you about profession updates.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Josh Greenfield, senior game producer on WoW Classic.
Hi, Josh Greenfield.
Let's dive right in and talk about what we're going to be doing with professions in Phase 2. I want to start by saying that we've been really thrilled with the reception to our professions editions in Phase 1. It was really exciting watching people sort of discover and unlock how to create your awesome, void touch leather gloves and your extra planar spider silk boots and all those things. We're going to go ahead and expand on this quite a bit for Phase 2. There will be around 20 new recipes across all non-gathering professions.
Oh, wow.
This also includes not just leatherworking, tailoring, and blacksmithing, but also alchemy, enchanting, and engineering as well.
New epic helmets, new enchants, new engineering items. There you go. Look at that.
So we want to spread the love around here. We want to make sure everyone gets something really cool this time. So that's what we're going to do. Just like in Phase 1, there will be an epic quest chain to unlock this, and we won't spoil anything about that today. You're going to have to get in the game. You're going to have to kind of go through that yourself. But if you liked what we did in Phase 1, you'll probably like this too. Okay. Next, I kind of want to talk a little bit about just some of the recipes here. I'm not going to go into super big detail about what each of these are and all the stats and everything like that. As you can see, they're very powerful. But one thing I do...
I'm going to look at the cloth piece real quick. Okay, so this is the Neuro-Linked Arcano-Filament Monocle. This requires level 40. It requires tailoring 225, so presumably 225 is the new profession cap. Obviously, people were speculating about that, but it seems like it's safe to make that firm determination now. Increases damage and healing done by 22, 4 MP5. Use. Harness the latent arcane energy in the nearby air to give you charged inspiration, reducing the mana cost of all spells by 50% and increasing damage and healing done by 50 for 12 seconds. 10-minute cooldown. That's pretty good. You guys can look at these if you're playing a mail or a plate. It's pretty good. Yeah, that's a pretty good item.
I do want to kind of call out is that you'll notice that a few of the materials required are brand new materials to the game.
Hyperconductive Arcano Filament 5, faintly glowing leather, Insulating Niodine, Vision Dust, Bolt of Mageweave.
A lot of them are used across different professions, some of these similar new materials. There's definitely going to be a trading and kind of economy aspect to these new professions recipes. And just like everything with Season of Discovery, we're most excited to see how players share resources and information to make these things.
Yep.
That's all we're going to say right now, but we think it's going to be a pretty fun thing to participate in the next phase.
All right.
A few other things we kind of want to talk about is alchemy and enchanting in particular. When we were looking at what we wanted to do here, we could obviously add more consumables and we can add more enchants for enchanters. And to a degree, we did. There are new enchanting material recipes other than what you see here. But one of the things about these professions is that in a lot of cases, they don't do a whole lot for your personal throughput. If you're one of these professions, a lot of times you can make things, and a lot of times you can make a lot of gold off of having these professions. But in terms of your actual like damage output or healing output, they don't really bring anything that you can't have someone else craft for you.
I'm glad to see this change here.
So that's what we wanted to try here. In particular, if you'll notice on the left side, there's this new Enchanted Sigil innovation. And what this basically is that this is kind of like a world buff that you can carry around in your bag and give to yourself. And essentially,
and it is only for enchanters. Gain an Enchanted Sigil of Innovation, empowering you to deal up to 20 increased damage and healing with spells and increasing attack power by 20. This can only apply out of combat. It requires 225 enchanting. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Essentially, it has a 30-minute duration, but also a 30-minute cooldown. So if you die early, you will lose this for at least some period of time before you can put it back on. Same thing with Alchemist here. They have the ability to make this essentially damage and healing consumable, or damage and attack power consumable, and that also restores a little bit of health and a little bit of mana. So that's just something that's a little unique for them this time, and we hope that you like these things. We're looking for feedback on this sort of stuff.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
So now that we
having enchanting, skinning, leatherwork, like enchanting, leatherworking, alchemy. Some of these professions have always felt a little bit underwhelming because, like you said, you don't really get something on a personal level. You get things that you can make and sell to people. You can make money, but you don't get a personal player power upgrade. And I think this is a good decision that they've made here.
We've kind of gone through an overview. Phase 2 and some of the things that are coming in it. We do want to kind of, I guess, hit a few of the frequently asked questions that we've gotten recently about things in Phase 1 and some of the issues that have popped up and how we're addressing those, as well as just some curiosities about what else is coming in Phase 2 and how specific things will work. So we're going to dive into a few of these kind of FAQ items and try and burn through as many of them as possible to give you a better idea of kind of what's going on and what our thought process on some of this stuff is. So let's just go ahead and hop right in. We will start today talking about raid schedule. We thought we'd start here because this is a pretty hot debate in the community right now. We've seen a lot of great feedback on this and have weighed a great many perspectives about, kind of when we should release the raid. Should we have it available from day one, or should we wait maybe a week or some other amount of time to unlock it globally at the same time? While it's impossible, we feel, to do something that will make every single person happy, we do think we can strike a bit of a compromise here. We understand that, the server or world first race is not just about who can zone in first. If the raid unlocks at an arbitrary global time. And for a large group of players, it's also about who can get in the fastest after leveling. And it's very exciting for them to see what they can do when they're under geared or maybe without their full toolkit of runes and other pre-raid items. And so, that is one argument we've heard in favor of not delaying it. And we think it's a very compelling one. It is very exciting to participate in that and to watch that. On the other hand, though, if you're one of those players, the many players who really like to take their time leveling, we realize that 3-day lockout puts you in a position where you may miss several lockouts before you hit 40. And while it's pretty unlikely to actually matter all that much in the long run, as you will have plenty of lockouts this phase, it does still feel kind of bad. And one of the things we wanted to avoid with this season was too much feeling of FOMO. So by way of a compromise,
this is the
what
casual
we're looking
season.
At doing this time is we will not delay the opening of the raid, but we will be putting the first 2 lockouts on kind of a normal weekly lockout timer. So that means that would reset on Tuesday in North America, Wednesday in Europe, and so on and so forth, and whatever your
So this means that if it takes you 15 days to get from 15 real life days to get from 25 to 40, you're only going to miss 2 lockouts as opposed to 4 lockouts. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. It's like a mitigation of damage if you're a casual player, or a mitigation of FOMO. There's still going to be a little bit of FOMO, but it's not as bad.
Unlock time or reset time is. This means that the first lockout will occur on February 13th, again in North America, in the morning with maintenance, and then the second will occur the following Tuesday on February 20th, again in North America, in the morning with maintenance. So each region you can offset for your regional maintenance time. What this allows us to do is, if enable folks who really want to push day one to get in as fast as possible and get that first, like world first or server first clear, or just the bragging rights of saying you did it first. That's something that we don't want to take away from you. But this also reduces the number of lockouts that are possible in that time period, so that players who are leveling a little bit more casually or a little slower pace may not feel like they missed out on as much.
I'm going to take a look at the calendar real quick. This phase comes out on February the 8th, and North American raids reset Tuesday morning. For Europeans, it's Wednesday morning on the 14th. Can you guys see this? Yeah, okay, you can. So this means that if you're North American, you need to get to 40 by Monday night, and then do the raid Monday night. If you don't want to miss that first lockout, you got to go fast. You got to go fast still. Go fast.
It's not a perfect solution, and that's one thing we really want to stress, is that when you deal with a game like World of Warcraft and on this scale, there's no objectively correct answers. There are every decision we make, there's going to be people who like it and there's going to be people who would prefer something else. But we feel that this acknowledges both major perspectives without really depriving either group of something special. So we really hope that you like it, and we're going to keep looking at feedback on this. If this is something that works out well, we may carry this forward into future phases, and if not, we may just go back to the drawing board and try something else. But we really, really, really appreciate the ton of feedback we've gotten from the community on this. We've been watching social media. We've been watching forums.
I see the question. Do you think this raid will be puggable? I don't think that BFD was reliably puggable until probably like week 3 of Season of Discovery. Yeah, probably week 3. So I would not expect you to be successfully full clearing Nomuragon, all 6 bosses within the first couple weeks. I think you're going to want to probably have a good guild group or something, and you're not going to be able to do a GDKP. No, you're not. We're going to talk about that soon enough.
Really been watching a lot of the commentary on this, and we couldn't have nothing we do without looking at and listening to what you guys are saying. So thank you so much for that. Next thing we want to talk about a little bit is PvP matchmaking. We realize that it can be frustrating to get matched against a full pre-made when queuing solo.
This is big.
However, we do still have significant concerns about completely bifurcating PvP queues into a separate PvP or small group queue. What this means essentially is if you're in a group of 5 or less, you'll have a dramatically higher chance to also get matched.
Dude. Yes. Exactly what we have been saying they should do, they are doing. This is complete and total pre-made victory as far as I'm concerned. This is complete and total GDKP victory. Every single thing that I have identified as being a problem in this game, they are actually fixing. All right. Okay. Other than there's a lot of bots they need to ban. They need to ban a lot more bots. Okay. They need to double time on that, but still.
Against groups of 5 or less. And if you're in a group of 6 or more, same deal, you'll have a higher chance to get matched against larger groups or full groups. If the queues are long or the matchmaker can't find a good group that fits within these parameters after a certain amount of time, it'll abandon these rules and go ahead and match you with the first available so you can at least play a game. But by and large, we feel that this will help the situation a lot for those who just kind of want to queue up solo or just with a few friends and not feel like they're always going against pre-made. We do want to stress again, though, that we firmly believe that activities like PvP Battlegrounds are just more fun and less stressful when players group up and coordinate. We can understand that if you just want a PvP and you don't want to join a group for it, it can be a little bit more frustrating than you feel it needs to be. But ultimately, coordination within your team, whether it's a pre-made or not.
Yeah, okay, so what does this mean? what does this actually look like gameplay wise? Now the Warsaw Gulch meta is no longer 10-man queuing, it's 5-man queuing. Now the Arathi Basin meta is not 15-man pre-made queuing, now it's 5-man queuing. Okay, and this is really, really beneficial if you're an average or casual player, because the rate at which you will encounter a 5-man pre-made on the opposition team is the same rate if you're a solo player. The rate at which you will encounter an enemy pre-made is the same rate at which you will encounter a pre-made on your own team. So you'll be working alongside a pre-made at approximately the same rate that you'll be combating a pre-made. Whereas before, when you were running into 10-man pre-mates over and over and over and over and over again, it was just like never. It's like you were 80% of the time you were combating a pre-made, and 0% of the time you were fighting alongside a pre-made. So this is going to be a really, really good middle ground. I'm a huge fan of this decision, and of course around here on my stream in this community, we've been talking about this exact idea for a really long time. This is a great move, I think.
Is going to be the key to success in any activity like organized PvP when you're playing against other players. Even when queuing solo, we encourage you to be as positive team members and coordinate with your groups to have the best time possible. So next, another common question is that what the leveling buff will look like. We mentioned this at BlizzCon, that whenever the level cap increases, we will put in an XP buff for the previous level band. And so what you can expect for that. Also, we've gotten a lot of questions about what you can expect if you say you've done all the quests available to you at level 25, and what do you do for leveling it, from like 25 to 30 if you've done all those quests. So for the first question, we'll be providing a flat 50% XP buff from the 1 through 25 range. Wow. So that if you do start a new character or a new alt, or if you have a friend that's joining in phase 2, you should be able to get caught up to level 25 fairly quickly with that buff. The other thing that we're doing in order to help the second situation where you may feel like you've done all the quests you can and you're not sure how best to level, we are going to make the Blackfathom Deep's raid give a very significant amount of experience when cleared in phase 2 when you're over level 25. It's keeping the lockout it has now, a 3-day lockout, to encourage players not to just do it every single day and engage in other activities, but it will.
So this means if you're level 38, you are still going to want to go into Blackfathom Deeps and just do a real fast BFD run for big XP. If you're level 29, go back and do BFD, right? Okay, all right.
It will be very lucrative.
In fact, probably it is. Let's say it's day 1 of phase 2. It's February 8th. What is the first thing you do? You probably log in and do BFD real fast. Probably the first thing you do on day 1 of phase 2 is go do a BFD run.
Worth doing as long as it continues to give experience, which will probably be sometime into the mid.
Oh, he did say over 25. You might want to get to 26 and then do BFD. Get 26 and then do it.
Mid or late 30s.
Yeah.
Lastly, Waylaid Supplies are also seeing some adjustments. We're not quite ready to talk about the full suite of adjustments coming here because some of them are still undergoing tuning, but we are going to significantly increase the XP rewards for it, particularly in the ones from the 25 to 40 range. There will be new Waylaid Supplies turn-ins, and we want to make sure that they're very rewarding and they're something that you want to do. And we're also looking at removing some of the frustrations from this. Again, not quite ready to talk about the full details there, but if you've had concerns with some of the frustrating aspects of them, then we're hoping to address some of those in the next phase as well. So
just let us carry multiple boxes
a little bit more
and give XP
a little
for
bit
it.
more information about that.
Let's actually talk about the gameplay loop of turning in Waylaid supply boxes for XP. Okay, it's phase 2. It's February 9th. I'm level 27, and I get a Waylaid supply box. And I'm 45 minutes out in the middle of nowhere. I'm questing deep away from any town or any Waylaid supply box. And then I continue. So I've got a box in my inventory now, and I'm questing, and I'm deep in the middle of nowhere. And 30 minutes later, as I'm doing my quests, I get another box. I can't pick it up because I already have a box in my bag. And so this idea that Waylaid boxes are going to be giving rep, and that's going to be a viable way to help us level, unless we can carry multiple boxes at one time, it's totally lame because you can only carry one box, and what is that worth? I don't know, not a whole lot. Let us carry 3, 4, 5 boxes so that all of the boxes we loot and pick up during a normal average two hour long questing run You know, it's how long are you out in the middle of nowhere questing before you come back to a main city? I don't know, 2, 3, 4 hours, maybe. Depends on where you are. Depends on what you're doing. Depends on what level you are. So it's like, yeah, let us carry a handful of boxes to actually let us reasonably turn these in for XP. That doesn't mean maybe infinite boxes, but let us carry like 4 boxes or 5 boxes. Who knows?
And we'll have more,
Something.
as we get really close to patch or the phase launch. A few minor adjustments to Ashenvale are coming. There will be fewer people in Ashenvale specifically when the level cap increases. So we're going to go ahead and move the event to a rigid 3-hour timer.
The timer's
similar
better.
to what Anna talked about with the Stranglethorn Veil event.
That's better.
This will basically be every 3 hours on the mark.
And by the way, this is still the place to go if you want to get your Warsong rep up to revered. If you have a new alt, you still come here to get free rep, right?
And it will happen without player intervention. Do note, though, we don't want to make you choose between doing an Ashenvale battle and a Stranglethorn Veil battle. So the Ashenvale timer will be offset by 1 hour from Stranglethorn. So if Stranglethorn starts at noon, this will start at 1 p.m. And they should never overlap.
That's good.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited about that. And we hope that the Ashenvale battles continue. One other thing that is kind of a common question and topic is kind of what are we going to do with the world buffs in the next phase? Simply put, we're going to go ahead and cap them. The Ashenvale Weekly Quest world buff is going to be capped at level 39, and the Black Fathom Deeps world buff is also going to be capped at 39. So you can enjoy those while you're leveling, but once you hit 40, you'll no longer basically be able to gain.
So it would be possible to have the BFD 20% move speed buff, the world buff, all the way up to 40. Well, I mean, up until 39, right? Okay, that'll make leveling kind of nice if you can manage that.
The benefit of those. Please also note that the Stranglethorn Veil PvP event will not actually have a world buff this time, but no more gone well. Our goal is really to...
I hated the Ashenvale drums 5% damage world buff. I hated that. I'm really happy that they don't have something like that again. No more gun having a world buff, that's great, that's cool, but the 5% damage thing tied to Ashenvale was not fun.
Keep each phase's world buffs fun and exciting, but we don't want to add too much overhead to the evolving endgame. And we don't want it to be a slog to have to go all over the world to get all of these world buffs. And especially once we hit 60, we don't want you to have to slog through going all over the world and getting every world buff.
Yep.
So that's where we landed on that. We're obviously open to feedback on any of this. So please let us know what you think.
Okay.
Profession specializations. This is another really hot topic in the community. Just like with phase 1, when we capped professions at 150, with phase 2, we will be capping them at 225. And additionally, we've decided that profession specializations will also not be available until phase 3. So that's
profession specializations, meaning this is like gnomish versus goblin engineering, for instance, or armor smithing versus weaponsmithing, things like that. Okay.
When the level cap goes to 50. We feel that profession specializations outside of engineering and a few other exceptions are kind of lackluster at original WoW, and we really want to do something fun and cool here, and we really want to take our time to do it right. So for
that's
phase
cool.
3, profession specializations are going to have a large focus, and obviously we're not going to talk about it now, but do stay tuned for more information on profession specializations.
I like that. Okay, cool. I like that.
Thank you.
You know what they should do? They should give tailoring some sort of specialization. I understand you can make Fellcloth or you can make Mooncloth and you have the decision and it's on a 4-day cooldown or whatever. That's not really that exciting, right? They should give like some quest chain or some decision that you can make with tailoring similar to blacksmithing.
Another common question
or engineering
that we get that is somewhat frustrating to answer simply because kind of the more we talk about it, the faster bad actors can work around our efforts, but it's botting and exploitative accounts in general. Botting is sort of a colloquial term that includes a lot of things, including just exploitative gameplay that players engage in. And it has a negative impact on the game. It really does. It's something we don't like. It's something we actually hate. We spend a lot of time and a lot of effort trying to combat. And while we can't really talk about the specifics of what we're doing, we do want to talk about some really exciting new tech that's coming with phase 2. We've had this in limited testing on live, both in classic of its various flavors and modern for quite some time. And we've seen some very positive results from it. And so we want to set expectations that there's never going to be a time where World of Warcraft or really any online game is going to be completely free of bad actors and malicious accounts. But we're very positive about the results we've seen from this new tech, and we're really excited to see it rolled out.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Kind of the more effective we are at some of these things, the more outwardly visible the bad actors can become. A lot of times following many of our ban waves, you may actually see increased bot activity as bot farms essentially spin up new accounts and start over.
All right.
But there's been a few instances of this happening. We do a large ban wave, and then everyone, I see videos posted online of streams of bots going from one part of the world to the other. But when you see that stuff and when you report it, it actually helps us clamp down on that new method as well. And it gets the bot farms into a position where they are constantly kind of 2 steps forward and like 2 steps backwards. So that is really helpful. And as much as it's frustrating to see, we really want to encourage you to
I hate to be overly critical, but if the botters were 2 steps forward, 2 steps backwards, then they would not be botting, because they would be making no progress. They must necessarily be taking steps forward, otherwise it would not be worth doing, right? It wouldn't be worth the money.
Continue to help us by reporting
and they're doing
things,
it.
And
we know that they're doing it.
Exhaustive work on our side for this issue. Always a frustrating thing, never easy to talk about, but we really appreciate your patience with us.
All right. Okay.
So the last topic that we really want to talk about, and this is kind of a big one, is just jumping right in.
Here we go. Here we go. As you guys know, I have been probably, I don't know, out of all the streamers and YouTubers, I think I've probably been the most outwardly spoken and critical of GDKPs. I have been talking about getting rid of GDKPs ever since like Blackwing Layer of Classic. This is in early 2020. I am so happy that they're getting rid of GDKPs. And of course, I want to, before I think this video is going to pop off on YouTube, I want to give my opinion on this, and I want to be very, very clear. I can give this in a very, very concise way. I think there's nothing wrong with GDKPs in a world where there's no botting or gold selling or gold buying. We don't live in that world. We live in a world where there's a lot of botting, there's a lot of gold buying, and there's a lot of gold selling. And GDKPs offer a never-ending avenue and reason with which to buy gold. In the absence of GDKPs, if you snap your fingers and you remove GDKPs, the motivation people have to buy gold goes way, 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 way down, because you don't have a never-ending avenue with which to spend that gold. Okay, so I think that given Blizzard's lackluster execution with getting rid of bots and gold buyers and gold sellers, I think that GDKPs probably have to go. I'm very happy to see this news today. We can talk about the logistics of this, as I want to see what he has to say first, because honestly, I have not seen this yet. But let's just see what he has to say, and then I'll give maybe some of my opinion on this afterwards.
Into it, starting with phase 2 of Season of Discovery, we're going to be experimenting with a new policy change.
Okay.
GDKP will no longer be permitted in Season of Discovery realms.
Yep.
And to kind of recap, for anyone who does not know what GDKP or gold bid raids or dungeons are, it's essentially a raid or a dungeon run where the loot rules is that all loot that is distributed is essentially purchased with gold. So items, an item will drop. It's then put up for bid by the loot master or whoever's doing the loot. And interested parties then bid gold for the item. When the highest bid wins, and when the gold is received, it's split within the participants of the raid. This is something we've been discussing for a very long time on WoW Classic, and it's not a decision we've arrived at lightly. It's fair.
So here's my plan. I will be putting together a hyper-authoritarian secret police force GDKP death squad, and I will be putting together an elaborate network of informants and spies and rats and moles. I will be infiltrating every single Discord server, and we will shut it down. If you're like, nah, because I'm going to have a secret Discord server and we're going to do our GDKPs. No, you won't, because my rats are inside the server and they've got screenshots of every single thing that you're doing. We will know. We will find you. We will shut it down. We will shut it down. 07 in the chat.
Has some benefits to individuals who don't want to be tied to a traditional guild or set raid schedule. And GDKPs are, while largely transactional, another social activity in the game. And we're always hesitant to discourage anything that gets people in groups and playing together.
Yeah.
However, We do remain concerned that GDKP erodes traditional guild and social structures that are in many cases the basis of our most fond memories of original World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And it's undeniable that GDKP contributes to and drives a lot of malicious accounts, illicit activity, RMT, botting, all of the things we just talked about.
Yep.
Season of Discovery is highly experimental in its nature, and we take chances, and this is another chance we're taking. We want to give an honest try to a version of World of Warcraft without GDKP present, and this is our best opportunity for that. So as of the launch of Phase 2 on February 8th, GDKP
a new
will no
era,
longer be
a
played
new
in Season of
dawn
Discovery.
for Classic WoW.
We're going to release
a new glory age, the Gilded Age of Classic WoW. Yes, the Renaissance.
And, once we do, we'll have that
yes,
posted on forums and stuff. We'd really like to
a
hear
new dawn.
what you think, and we're going to really monitor feedback closely on this. This is a test, and ultimately this decision came as a result of your feedback. And so, we want to hear more of what you think of this. We want to hear how it goes as we move through this next phase. And if it doesn't work out, we'll revisit this policy for future phases. We really appreciate everyone who has expressed that feedback and concerns on this topic. Thank you. So with that,
that's a great move. That's a great move. And so obviously one of the arguments I see is, oh yeah, well, what's the point in banning GDKPs if some people are still going to try to do GDKPs? Well, then so what? Then you've reduced the GDKP volume by 90% or by 99%, right? As we all know, just by nature of something being against the rules and potentially getting banned or risking your account for participating in it, most people will stop. Streamers will stop streaming it. YouTubers will stop YouTubing it. People will stop advertising it in trade chat or general chat or talking about it within their guilds. You might have some people that are trying to operate secret GDKP Discord servers that are totally happening off of the game, and you're like, okay, well, they're not going to catch us in our secret GDKP underground GDKP Discord servers. Listen, all it takes is one person getting mad and pissed off, and the entire jig is up, right? If you've got a GDKP Discord server with 75 people in the server and you're operating GDKPs, all it takes is one guy getting pissed off and blowing the lid off of the entire server, and it's over. And we know how unhinged and crazy World of Warcraft players are. People get pissed off and unhinged and go crazy all the time. Or all it takes is one rat or one person infiltrating that Discord server, and it's over. And everyone is getting reported. And then so. And even so, if the argument is, oh yeah, well, Staysafe, what's the point in banning GDKPs if only 90% of GDKPs are going to, are only going to shut down? Well, then guess what? We've had a 90% of GDKPs shutting down. Is that a good thing? Yes, I think that's a good thing. I think that is a good thing. Yes.
I think we're done with today's presentation. Thank you so much. Heartfelt thanks from the WoW Classic development team. We've been just actually blown away by the reception to Season of Discovery. We are thrilled that so many of you have been enjoying it as much as we are, and we can't wait to see you in Phase 2. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Be good to each other. Goodbye.
Excellent. That's the news. Curious how effectively they can police GDKPs when they can't even police gold buying. Well, here's actually a great example, okay? Right now, gold buying is against the rules, and if you buy it, you risk getting banned. In my opinion, I think in all of our opinions, they don't ban enough people. I wish they would ban way more people. I wish they would take a firmer stance on it. But let me ask you this. If gold buying wasn't against the rules, do you think more people would do it? Yeah. Yeah, of course. Right now, it is against the rules, and some people do it. But if imagine it was not against the rules, would more people do it? Yes, absolutely. And so this is the exact argument with GDKPs. Most certainly, some people will try to do GDKPs. They're going to operate some illicit underground black market GDKP communities in various Discord servers, whatever. Yeah, no doubt. There will always be crime. This is true for real life. This is true for video games. There will always be some amount of illicit behavior. But by nature of banning it and saying, hey, listen, at least we're going to try to take a firm stance on this, most people are going to stop. Most people will stop because most people don't want to risk their account to go to a 10-man no Muragan GDKP. That's just the truth. I think most people don't want to take that risk. It's not worth it. They don't care that much. Okay, anyway, this is huge news. This is actually a really, 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 really big news drop. I like really pretty much everything that I have heard here today. I do want to say, without getting into the class by class nitty gritty, we already did that a little bit ago watching this video. I'm gonna say that collectively, I think that the runes are underwhelming. That's my overall take. Of course, there are some highlights here and there, but I think that overall, the runes that got announced today are underwhelming, and they're not really that exciting. Now, that's entirely subjective. Maybe you guys feel differently. It is what it is. But honestly, everything outside the runes, and like I said, there are some good runes. I think this is going to be pretty fun. I like this guy. I like Kaldamu. I like this guy. This is cool. I'm excited. I am excited and I am hyped. There's a bunch of new profession stuff, a bunch of new crafting stuff, a bunch of new raid loot. There's a bunch of new runes. There's a really cool new PvP event. I think that this event is going to be way better than Ashen Veil. It seems like, fingers crossed, I hope that they have learned from some of their mistakes with Ashen Veil. It seems like they have, putting the event on a timer and adding an option to opt out of it if you don't even want to do it. That seems like a good move. Getting rid of GDKPs is so obviously the right move, and anyone that disagrees is below 65 IQ. So this is awesome. This is great news. This is awesome. Make sure to drop a like. Please subscribe to my channel. Comment. Let me know what you think about all of this. And I'll see you for the next video. Thank you guys. And as always, stay safe.